If you're over 60, every choice you make, every bite you take, every habit you keep can directly impact your prostate health. What if I told you that one seemingly harmless habit, something you might be doing every single day, could be silently enlarging your prostate, setting you up for discomfort, sleepless nights, and even serious health risks? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to protect you. As a prostate doctor, I've spent decades in clinics sitting across from men who thought they were doing everything right, only to discover their prostate was paying the price for a habit they didn't even know was dangerous. I've seen strong, vibrant seniors walk into my office with symptoms they brushed off as just aging: frequent urination, weak flow, trouble sleeping through the night, only to learn their prostate was enlarged, sometimes dangerously so. And in so many cases, it wasn't genetics or bad luck. It was one overlooked habit that could have been changed years earlier. In this video, I'm begging you to stop this one habit that could be quietly harming your prostate. But don't worry, I'm not just going to point out the problem. I'll show you exactly what to do instead, with practical, science-backed steps to protect your prostate and reclaim your comfort. Keep watching because your health deserves better, and this one habit might be the very thing you're doing today. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip crafted just for you. If you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments below. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can improve for you. Your feedback means everything. The silent threat to your prostate. Let's talk about the prostate, a small walnut-sized gland that plays a massive role in a man's health. As you age, your prostate naturally grows, a condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's common, affecting nearly 50% of men over 60 and up to 90% by age 80. But just because it's common doesn't mean it as harmless. An enlarged prostate can press on the urethra, causing frequent trips to the bathroom, weak urine flow, or even pain. Left unchecked, it can lead to infections, bladder issues, or worse. And while aging is part of the equation, there's one habit that's making this natural process far worse for millions of men. I've sat with patients, men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, who were shocked to learn their daily routine was fueling their prostate problems. They weren't eating poorly or ignoring their health. In fact, many were active, disciplined, and trying to stay strong. But this one habit, so common it's practically invisible, was working against them, quietly enlarging their prostate and stealing their quality of life. What's heartbreaking is that they didn't see it coming. They felt fine, until they didn't. And by the time they sat in my office, the damage was already underway. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Your prostate is resilient, but it's not invincible. After decades of serving you, it's asking for a little care in return. And the good news? Changing this one habit can make a world of difference. It's not about overhauling your life. It's about making one smart, intentional shift. So, what is this habit? Let's dive in, and I promise you'll walk away with clarity and a plan. If you're still with me, comment 1 below to let me know you're ready to take control of your prostate health. Here we go. The habit: ignoring your fluid intake timing. The number one habit silently enlarging your prostate: drinking fluids at the wrong times, especially late at night. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But hear me out. As a prostate specialist, I've seen this habit wreak havoc on men's health more than almost anything else. You might be thinking, drinking water is good for me, how could it hurt my prostate? And you're right, hydration is critical, but when and how you drink fluids can either support your prostate or put it under unnecessary strain day after day until the damage builds up. Here's what happens. When you're over 60, your body's systems, your kidneys, bladder, and prostate, don't work with the same efficiency as they did in your 30s. Your prostate is already growing naturally with age, pressing on the urethra and making it harder for your bladder to empty completely. Now, if you're chugging water, coffee, or other fluids in the evening, especially close to bedtime, you're flooding your system at a time when it's least equipped to handle it. Your bladder fills up, your prostate gets compressed, and your body struggles to process that fluid overnight. This creates a cycle of pressure and irritation that over time worsens prostate enlargement. I've had patients who were diligent about staying hydrated, drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, just like they'd been told, but they were sipping water, tea, or even alcohol right up until bedtime, thinking it wouldn't matter. Then they'd wake up 3, 4, 5 times a night to urinate, each trip putting more strain on their prostate. They'd feel tired, frustrated, and embarrassed, assuming it was just part of getting older. But it's not. It's a habit, one that's fixable. The science behind the problem. Let's break it down. Your prostate surrounds the urethra, the tube that carries urine from your bladder out of your body. As the prostate enlarges, it squeezes this tube, making urination harder. When you overload your bladder with fluids, especially at night, it has to work overtime to store and release urine. This constant pressure irritates the prostate, triggering inflammation and encouraging further growth. Studies show that chronic bladder distension, when the bladder is repeatedly overfilled, can increase prostate tissue growth by up to 20% in men with BPH. That's not a small number. It's the difference between manageable symptoms and a life disrupted by constant bathroom trips. Worse, late-night fluid intake disrupts your sleep, and poor sleep is a hidden driver of prostate problems. When you don't get deep, restorative sleep, your body produces more stress hormones like cortisol, which can worsen inflammation throughout the body, including in the prostate. I've seen men in my clinic whose PSA levels, prostate-specific antigen, a marker we monitor for prostate health, spiked simply because they weren't sleeping well due to nighttime urination. And the kicker, many of them didn't even connect their evening coffee or water habit to the problem. The emotional toll is just as real. Men tell me they feel trapped, afraid to travel, embarrassed at social events, or exhausted from broken sleep. They're not just losing bladder control, they're losing confidence, independence, and peace of mind. And it all ties back to this one habit, drinking fluids at the wrong time. But here's the good news. You don't have to live this way. You can change this today, and I'm going to show you how. What to do instead. So how do you fix this? It's not about drinking less, it's about drinking smarter. Here's a simple, science-backed plan to protect your prostate while staying hydrated. Front-load your hydration. Aim to drink most of your fluids, about 6 to 8 glasses of water, earlier in the day, ideally before 4 p.m. This gives your body time to process fluids before bedtime, reducing pressure on your bladder and prostate overnight. Cut off fluids after 7 p.m. Unless you're dealing with a medical condition that requires late-night hydration, stop drinking 2 to 3 hours before bed. This includes water, coffee, tea, soda, and alcohol, all of which can irritate the bladder and worsen prostate symptoms. Choose prostate-friendly fluids. Water is best, but if you're drinking other beverages, avoid bladder irritants like caffeine and alcohol, especially in the afternoon. Herbal teas like chamomile or nettle can be soothing and may even support prostate health. Monitor your urine output. A healthy bladder empties 4 to 6 times a day. If you're going more often, especially at night, it's a sign your prostate is under stress. Track your habits for a week to see if evening fluids are the culprit. Support your sleep cycle. Good sleep reduces inflammation and helps regulate hormones that affect prostate growth. Create a nighttime routine. Dim lights, avoid screens, and relax to signal your body it's time to rest, not process fluids. I had a patient, John, a 68-year-old retired teacher, who came to me frustrated because he was waking up every hour to urinate. He was active, ate well, and drank plenty of water, about 10 glasses a day, but he was sipping water right up until 10 p.m., thinking it was healthy. We adjusted his routine to stop fluids after 6 p.m. and focus hydration in the morning. Within 2 weeks, his nighttime trips dropped from 5 to 1, and his energy and mood improved dramatically. His prostate wasn't the problem. It was the timing of his habits. If this is hitting home for you, comment 1 below to let me know you're ready to try this. But fluid timing isn't the only factor. There's another layer to this habit that makes it even more dangerous, especially when it's paired with certain foods or drinks that directly irritate the prostate. Let's move to the next point, the hidden role of bladder-irritating foods. This one habit, drinking fluids at the wrong time, gets even worse when you pair it with foods or drinks that irritate your bladder and prostate. As a prostate doctor, I've seen men unknowingly make their symptoms worse by consuming things they thought were harmless, even healthy. Let's talk about what's on your plate and in your glass, because the wrong choices can amplify the damage of late-night fluid intake. Certain foods and drinks are like fuel on the fire for an aging prostate. Caffeine, for example, found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, and even chocolate, acts as a diuretic, meaning it makes you urinate more often. It also irritates the bladder, causing it to contract and put extra pressure on the prostate. Alcohol is another culprit. That evening, glass of wine or beer might help you relax, but it's a double whammy. It increases urine production and directly irritates the bladder lining. Spicy foods, acidic foods like tomatoes or citrus, and artificial sweeteners can also trigger bladder sensitivity, making your prostate work harder to keep up. I had a patient, Mike, a 72-year-old, who loved his nightly coffee while watching the news. He didn't realize that caffeine was overstimulating his bladder, forcing his prostate to deal with constant irritation. Combine that with drinking water late at night, and his prostate was in a state of chronic stress. When we swapped his evening coffee for decaf herbal tea and moved his water intake to earlier in the day, his symptoms, frequent urination, urgency, and discomfort, improved by 70% in just a month. Here's how to avoid this trap. Limit bladder irritants. Cut back on caffeine, alcohol, spicy foods, and acidic foods, especially in the evening. If you can't give them up entirely, consume them before noon to minimize their impact. Choose prostate-friendly foods. Foods like pumpkin seeds, berries, and fatty fish like salmon are rich in anti-inflammatory nutrients that support prostate health. Zinc and omega-3s in particular can help reduce BPH symptoms. Read labels carefully. Artificial sweeteners in healthy drinks or snacks can irritate the bladder just as much as sugar. Opt for natural, whole foods whenever possible. This isn't about deprivation. It's about making choices that work with your body, not against it. Your prostate is already fighting a battle against age. Don't make it fight your diet too. If you're finding this helpful, comment 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's talk about another sneaky factor that makes this habit even worse. The stress connection. Here's where it gets deeper. The habit of drinking fluids late at night doesn't just affect your bladder and prostate physically. It is tied to stress, which is a silent amplifier of prostate problems. As a doctor, I've seen how stress can turn a manageable condition like BPH into a life-disrupting problem. And when you're waking up multiple times a night to urinate because of poorly timed fluids, you're not just stressing your prostate, you're stressing your entire body. Here's how to break the stress cycle. Practice stress management. Simple techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or gentle stretching for 10 minutes a day can lower cortisol levels and support prostate health. Protect your sleep. Stop fluids early, avoid screens an hour before bed, and create a calming bedtime routine to reduce stress and improve sleep quality. Stay consistent. Small daily changes, like sipping water in the morning instead of at night, add up to big results. Consistency is your prostate's best friend. If this resonates with you, comment 1 below to let me know you're ready to make these changes. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, a habit that's so easy to overlook it's practically invisible until it's too late. The sedentary trap. Here's the final layer. The habit of drinking fluids at the wrong time is made even worse if you're not moving enough during the day. A sedentary lifestyle, sitting for hours at a desk, on the couch, or in the car, can quietly contribute to prostate enlargement, especially when paired with late-night fluid intake. As a prostate doctor, I've seen how lack of movement slows blood flow, increases inflammation, and puts extra pressure on the pelvic area, all of which aggravate BPH. When you sit for long periods, blood flow to the pelvic region stagnates, reducing oxygen delivery to the prostate and encouraging inflammation. Combine that with a full bladder from evening fluids, and you're creating a perfect storm for prostate irritation. Studies show that men who sit for more than 5 hours a day have a 25% higher risk of BPH symptoms compared to those who stay active. I had a patient, Tom, a 70-year-old retiree who spent hours reading or watching TV. He drank water throughout the day, including late at night, and wondered why his prostate symptoms were getting worse. We introduced a simple routine: 20-minute walks twice a day, plus stopping fluids after 6 p.m. Within a month, his urination frequency dropped, and he felt more energized. Movement wasn't just good for his heart, it was saving his prostate. Here's how to stay active safely. Move regularly. Aim for 20–30 minutes of gentle activity daily. Walking, swimming, or Tai Chi are great for prostate health without overtaxing your body. Break up sitting time. Stand or stretch every hour, even for a minute, to improve blood flow to the pelvic area. Pair movement with smart hydration. Drink water before and after activity, not late at night, to support your body without overloading your bladder. A message from my heart to yours. If you've made it this far, thank you. It tells me you're not just here to live longer, you're here to live better. As a doctor, I've sat beside too many men who were strong, wise, and full of life, only to see their quality of life slip away because of a habit they didn't know was harmful. They'd say, "I didn't think it was a big deal." But when you're over 60, everything is a big deal. How you hydrate, what you eat, how you move, how you rest. Your prostate isn't asking for much, but it's asking for your attention. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to chase perfection. What you need is awareness, consistency, and kindness toward your body. Stop drinking fluids late at night. Choose prostate-friendly foods. Manage stress. Stay active. These aren't punishments, they're gifts you give yourself. Gifts that add comfort, confidence, and years to your life. The final beat. Here's the truth I've learned after decades in medicine. Your prostate doesn't demand much, but it gives you everything. It's a small gland with a big job, supporting you through every stage of life. But after 60, it needs you to listen, not out of fear, but out of respect. This one habit, drinking fluids at the wrong time, isn't malicious, but it's mighty. It's not about giving up hydration, it's about timing it right, choosing wisely, and moving smartly. Your journey forward isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. Hydrate early, eat thoughtfully, move gently, rest deeply. Your health isn't measured in how much water you drink or how hard you push. It's measured in the quiet strength of consistency and care. Let today be the day you start protecting your prostate, not stressing it. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned from this video that you plan to apply in your life. Comment 1 if this resonated with you, or 0 if you have feedback to help me improve. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your terms with a healthy prostate and a clear mind.